Hey guys, Nick from Cincy Game Hunting here, and this is the week we're going to do the game room tour. Now, my gaming setup in my house is a little different than most. I've got kind of stuff everywhere. Some stuff downstairs, some stuff upstairs, and then the majority of it is in the actual cave. So we're going to do a quick little tour and show you what we got. Hope you enjoy. Now in the main room we only have two consoles, mainly because they're the most versatile consoles in my collection. And I can play the most variety of games on these two consoles. As you see, the Xbox One X that we picked up in that trade episode a couple of weeks back, Xbox One X can play all the older games and a lot of times can enhance them. So totally was willing to put that one down here because it's also a 4K console, and this is the only room that in the house that actually has a 4K TV, so it made sense to throw it down here. Also right above it, you'll notice this. That is a launch edition PS3. I actually bought this on clearance from a Walmart right before they stopped selling them. I bought it for $400, and as you remember, they went for around $600 back when they first came out. So, not a bad deal, and I've had this thing since I bought it back in like 2007, and it's still running strong. So, these two systems, I said, get me the most bang for my buck for the downstairs TV, and I can play the most games on them, so that's why I chose them. Now, as we go upstairs, majority of everything is up in this area. The cave is up here, the bedroom is up here, and I have a spare bedroom that I actually keep some things in too, so take a look. All right, here we are in the master bedroom, and there really is only one console that I keep up here. It's my Nintendo Switch. Mainly because I don't have any other place to put it. It's a good place to put the charging port. I don't play it on the TV up here very often. I play it handheld most of the time. But once in a while, me and Andrew will come up here and play Switch because it's a nice little, we can chill on the bed and play the games. I bought this controller at a swap meet not too long ago, mainly for Andrew to use because I don't want him using the real Pro controller because I don't want it getting damaged because it's an expensive controller. So I bought that for like, I think $10, and then shortly after that I went to the swap meet again, and can you tell which one's the Pro controller? Well, yeah, you can because it's got the Switch logo on it, but that's actually a $5 swap meet Pro controller that I found that he uses as well. So we have 3 controllers to use, so that way if we want to play some Smash Brothers with some friends, we can take the Joy-Cons off, and we have 4 controllers to play with. Now in here is where I keep all of my Switch games, well, the ones that I have sorted out already. Kind of a hodgepodge. I try to keep them in alphabetical, but just a little look at all of the Switch games. You'll notice over here I also keep my PSP games in here. I'm going to have to probably move these out of here because I'm running out of space. So I need to put all my Switch games in here, and I've got a whole bunch I got to load into this drawer. But it was a good spot because it fit all these games fairly nicely, and the door would shut pretty easily, so not a bad little spot to keep all those games. Now before we leave the bedroom, I had a viewer once ask me not too long ago, how many hats do I have? And it was a legitimate question because you see I'm wearing a different hat in every video. I got a lot. Not gonna lie. I think last time I counted it was around 130, and I got them all in different genres, if you will. I have all my UNLV hats right here, my Bears ones next to it, my racing ones next to that, 2 stacks of Cubs hats. These are all hockey hats. These are my Blackhawks and my Golden Knights hats. These are all college hats. These are Cincinnati, Purdue, a couple other odd ones. I think I got a Quinnipiac one. This is where I went to college at, Vincennes University, represent. And this last one is all minor league. This is the Vegas minor league baseball team. This is the Aviators, the Tin Caps, the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, the Fort Wayne Comets, the Tin Caps hats, some of the Las Vegas hats, a lot of random ones. Like this is a Fort Wayne arena football team that lasted maybe like a year, and that was kind of a fun one to have. All right, we are in the guest room / my wife's office, and there's not a lot going on in here. It's kind of where we keep the router in the house, and I do have one console hooked up right now. That's my PlayStation Classic, and this is kind of where I keep my classic consoles. I can interchange them. I can kind of just take out the HDMI and the power cord and just switch the console out and just be able to play it on this TV over here. And I have all my consoles laid out over here for you. All the mini ones, that is. Got my Nintendo Classic. My Genesis Mini. The PlayStation Classic, which a lot of people say they hate, but I'm nostalgic for because this is what I got after my NES originally when I was growing up. Super Nintendo Classic, which is the only one that I don't have boxed. And I bought it used from a retail store, but I got a nice little carrying case for it that I can keep all the controllers and everything in, so love that. And there's my TurboGrafx Mini. I got that right after I traded my TurboGrafx 16 in to get the Xbox One X. Been looking forward to getting those for a while. I like having all of these because it kind of helps me to kind of whittle down my collection a little bit, because I do love cartridge games. Don't get me wrong. I do like retro games. I love retro games. But I don't like having all those cartridges sitting around everywhere. People will call me not a purist. I understand that. But I like cheap video games. I'm not a retro game guy. I love my retro games. And I love that I can play all of them with all of these. But this helps me out to keep my collection down, and I don't have to worry about trying to find places to put things. Alright guys, now it's time to check out the not so impressive Cincy Game Hunting Game Room. I say that because I see a lot of game rooms tours on YouTube, and mine definitely is not those. I'm a simple dude and I like to have my games in my room, but I don't have every game imaginable in there. I try to get the games that I really like and play through them, and if I don't love them, I'll trade them in. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do right now. I'm trying to trade in a lot of my 360 stuff because I want to play through them first and then trade them in. So here we go, into the game room. This is my game room. Got my Cuphead figures over here. A couple of Pixel Pals around the room. You'll notice that they kind of show up here and there. I found a bunch of them on at Meijer for like a couple bucks a piece, so kind of use those to decorate the game room. I got a couple Mega Man Pops here too. But yeah, not a lot of stuff in here, trinket-wise. I do have my Mega Man Pops, and I have a lot of random Pixel Pals. There's Ryu and Sonic, and even a Link down here. Sorry the lighting isn't great in here. I just replaced a bunch of lights, but they weren't as strong a wattage as I thought they were going to be. It's hard to judge sometimes with the LEDs. But yeah, this is what we got. Now, give you a quick little twist around the room here. You'll notice I have a lot of tower stacks filling the room up. And these shelving units are ones that my mom actually made for me for the room. And I wish I had almost a little bit taller, but I wanted to make sure I had room to hang stuff in the room. So I could have had these shelves go. She asked me if I wanted to have them go taller into the room. I told her, no, I want to be able to enjoy and decorate the room also. So I made a sacrifice for that, but it is what it is. All right, well, let's start on over at the stacks, and we'll work our way around. All right, first of all, we have our GameCube games. Eternal Darkness is a great game. If you ever played this, it is an amazing. It's a game that kind of messes with you because it makes you think that your game system's going wrong at times. It's really a fun try. If you had a chance to play this, I would totally suggest it. Skies of Arcadia. I actually found this. I got it. I paid up for it. It was like, I want to say it was like around 60 or 70 bucks I paid for it, but it's gone up to almost like 150 bucks now. I didn't realize how much expensive it's gotten, so that was pretty cool to find that for what I did. Mario Kart, of course. Skyward Sword, which is an awesome game. People don't always love it, but I enjoy it a lot. Metroid Prime. The Pikmin games. I bought both of these on Wii just because I could not find them for a decent price on Gamecube. And ended up, I think, paying like around 15 bucks for each of these, maybe, I think it was. Poke Park is my son's favorite game. He's been enamored with that game for the longest time now. Trying to get him off of that and go to a different game soon. Alright, on this side of the room we have the Wii U games and the OG Xbox games. I'll go to the Wii U first. Now the ones on top again are the ones that I haven't really filed away. Not the main games that I really keep in my collection. Breath of the Wild I think I took out for a reason, then I put it back. But yeah, I forgot to put it back in its right spot. But a lot of these are newer games, and then it goes alphabetical once I get towards the actual case itself. And I try to keep all the first party Nintendo stuff kind of towards the top. All the Zelda games, the Mario games. The Pac-Man Ghostly Adventure games, which are kind of fun. I don't know if you ever tried those. Yeah, I got a good chunk of Wii U games. Nowhere near a complete set, but I'm getting there. There's that IHRA Drag Racing Sportsman Edition that was worth like 60 bucks. And you'll see over here in a second here that I keep a lot of the ones that are playable on the Xbox One on a different stack, just so I can kind of keep them separated from everything else. Now over here is my PlayStation 1 tower. I had to turn the light on because it's a little bit, the camera light that is, because it's a little bit dark over in this corner, so you probably wouldn't be able to see it very well if I didn't. So I hope it doesn't cause too much of a glare. Got Azure Dreams. Oh my gosh, I found that game for like $2 at a St. Vincent, and I was like, I had never heard of it, so I looked it up and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like an $80 game. That was crazy. Mega Man Legends. I love the Mega Man Legends games. I wish they would come out with a Mega Man Legends 3. These are kind of not loved throughout the community, but I love them. They were great little 3D adventure games, and kind of one of the first 3D adventure game Mega Man ever had. So if you have a chance, give it a try. It's the controls are a little wonky on it, but it's a lot of fun. This is my favorite NES game of all time, North and South. A lot of people haven't heard of it. They made a remake of it, I believe, on the Xbox, and I think they're coming out with it on Switch not too long from now. But it's a really cool game. It's like a strategy game, but it's also a battle game, and you also have a time where you have to try to take a train and steal the money from either side, and also take over forts, which is a lot of fun. River City Ransom, another one that's really, I love that game so much over and over again. It's one thing I can play over and over again and not really worry about getting bored with it. Mega Man 3 is probably my favorite Mega Man game, which is unpopular, but is the only one that I was ever actually able to beat. Let's just put it that way. Was never really any good at the Mega Man games. I love them to death. Mega Man's my favorite character of video games all time. We got Adventure Island 2, which I found at a thrift store recently, and a couple Double Dragon. And up here you see Wreck-It Ralph. Actually, Wreck-It Ralph and Fix-It Felix. Got Ralph as a pop figurine and Felix as a plushie. And I also have my Wreck-It Ralph hands up here, which make a lot of noise, and my son loves them to death. They just get really loud and obnoxious after a while, though. But I also have my Fix-It Felix Jr. mini arcade, which is super awesome. Check this out. This was only like 15-20 bucks at Walmart. It was an awesome little deal. I mean, look how cool that is. It looks so good for like a little $20 arcade game. And it plays really well. PlayStation 2 is probably the one that I had the most games for growing up. Or actually not growing up, I mean it didn't come out until I was in college, but when I was in college I had the most games for it. A lot of games in here that I love still today. My Sega Saturn collection is kind of minuscule and puny, but that's mainly because they're so expensive system to buy for. So I don't have a ton. A lot of them are just loose games and cheapy games that I could find. So I may not be holding on to my Sega Saturn for very much longer, but that's what I got. Alright, now I just talked about my Saturn, and I do have a bunch of import games. Not a ton of them, but like, good, maybe like 4 or 5 different games from the imports. And these are a lot of fun because you can play these with the little cartridge you can put in the back. It's the Action Replay cartridge. So that's a really cool feature of the Saturn systems, that you can play all the Japanese import games on them. So that's pretty awesome. As you guys can see, we have a couple of charging stations over here too. I kind of keep all the charger stations over here by the window. We got the Xbox One over there. Got one for the 360 right there. My PS4 charger, my PS3 charger, and my Wii charger. So I keep a couple of charging things over here too. I think the Wii U Gamepad's chargers over here too, but it's kind of a nice little spot to keep all my charging stations so that if one goes down, I can just plug it in and grab the next controller. Alright, now we're getting into the more current consoles. PS4 and Xbox One, as you can see it on the top. PS4 is over here. I gotta kind of stack games on top of games nowadays. Just running out of space. I love my Final Fantasy games, as you guys know, along with my Dragon Quest games. I'm a big RPG fan, as long as it came with the turn-based RPGs. I mean, the newer ones aren't as turn-based like the old ones are, but I always still love them, no matter what. Final Fantasy games are awesome. Then below it, we got the PS3 stuff. Hard to see a lot of it. I know, I apologize. I don't want to keep taking things off the shelves. But we got about 3 rows of PS3. I think it's all together right around 100 games for PS3. And here's the other tower I told you about, the ones that are compatible with the Xbox One. I figured I'd put these aside, and that way I can play those on the Xbox One downstairs too. Sonic's kind of blocking the way there, apologize. A couple of kiddie games in there my son likes to play. Then we go to the Xbox One games. Once again, kind of stacked on top as well. Running out of space very quickly in the game room. And that's the most current gen stuff. Now that I step over here, I kind of have to turn the light on again because it's a little hard to see because it's a little dark over here. But this is a lot of my 64 games. Kind of have them double stacked on the row here. Apologize, can't see all of them. But I put the best ones on the front kind of so you can see them. And then this over here is my Star Wars shelf. Like, I don't think I have every single one of my Star Wars games on here. I think a couple of them that are downstairs or in a shelf somewhere else, but it's pretty much all my Star Wars games lined up together. I'm a huge Star Wars fan if you haven't figured that out yet. And then down below is a lot of the handheld stuff. Got a lot of 3DS games, with the DS games right behind. Not a ton in there. It's not a console I've been collecting for very long. I didn't really get a DS until maybe a couple years ago. I was always a PSP guy growing up, so yeah, didn't have a lot of Nintendo DS stuff. And here we go. This is where I sit down and game at. This is my little lounge chair that my wife got me a couple years back. I say we bought it back in Las Vegas and we transported it here from there. But yeah, it's a nice little spot to go gaming. Got all my systems down below the entertainment center there. My son's room is actually right next door to my game room, so the surround sound isn't always usable, so I have to switch over to this. It's my little wireless headphones that I can use at night after I get home from work. A lot of times that's when most of my gaming happens, when I come home from work at night and everybody's already asleep, so got to use those. Now down here, we'll start over here. First of all, we got the Sega Saturn. You saw I was playing Albert Odyssey. Not the original case, but like this is an expensive game. I think it's like 130. I ended up buying this for like 60 or 70 as well. But yeah, it's loose. This is a $130 game. But yeah, if I actually had the original case, it probably would have been worth something like probably like $300, I think. But don't have the original case. And like I said, The Action Replay cart is awesome. You can play all the import games with that, and I also have the 3D controller for it. Love it. My GameCube is right next to that, and as you guys saw, we have the Aeon GCHD adapter on it, so I can play it through HDMI. I used to play it on RCAs, which is what I had set up for this. I have an RCA switcher, composite? Yeah, composite switcher. Has 4 inputs on it. I have my 64 going into that, which is over here, by the way. And then I have my NES and my Saturn going into that as well. I also have a plug-and-play, what was it? Golden Tee game that I throw into that every once in a while too. So I'm kind of have to intertwine a couple of the front inputs on that one. Below that we have the OG Xbox. I bought that at a Goodwill over in Las Vegas when I lived there for like 10 bucks. That was about, it's like 2011, 2015, something like that. It was in the 2000 teens somewhere. We'll just throw it at that. I literally never had an Xbox before, and I didn't buy a 360 until much later either. So yeah, that was my first Xbox, and I bought it, like I said, for $10 at a Goodwill. And it was a Goodwill that was just opening up, and I got first dibs at it because I was actually there doing a story for work. And yeah, got it put aside for me, and I bought it for 10 bucks. Over to the left of that, we have the Wii U. Bought that a couple years back. I love this system. It's an awesome little system. Definitely underloved. Definitely a lot of confusion when it came to that and the regular Wii. But the Wii U totally is a cool system to have, and I totally recommend it if you haven't tried it. Next to that, we got the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One S. Stack those together. Hopefully I have enough air in the space there. I think it's got enough airspace to get through. Been playing them the last couple days. I just kind of reorganized this the other day to try and kind of free up some space in the entertainment center. And I haven't had any problems yet. Played for a couple hours and it wasn't getting too hot or anything, so I think it's going to work out okay. We also got the PlayStation 2, and this is my PlayStation 2 that I bought back in college, like I told you about. Still an original. It still works great, and I've got a couple of backups just in case it ever does fail. So I got that still running strong. And right above it, as you can see, is my Raspberry Pi. I usually just play this to play arcade games. Sometimes I play some retro games on it, but mostly just for arcade, playing MAME. I also got my 360 over here, and it's still got the price tag on it. Must say it was like $54. I bought it at a game store back in the day. I've actually got a couple other ones that I bought for cheaper after it, but it's still running strong, so I'm going to keep using that one until it dies. And there, well, first of all, on top of it is my PS3 Slim. Keep that one for upstairs to keep the PlayStation 3 games going up here. But underneath here is my original NES that I bought with my sister back in 1988, 89 maybe, and it's still running strong. I love the system, very nostalgic for it. It is one of the only console, cartridge console games that I keep around just because I love it so much. It's my nostalgia, you know? I went from this to PlayStation 1 and then to PlayStation 3 from that on. And or PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, kind of like in succession. I was mainly a PlayStation guy growing up after Nintendo, and yeah, that NES, I'm amazed it's still running. It had some issues with cartridges. You have to kind of put them in just right, but I don't want to get rid of it. I'm just so nostalgic for it, you know? So, yeah. I forgot to mention up here, we also have a component switcher. There's a couple of games that I'm playing right now. I apologize, it's in the way. But I got a component switcher for, I believe that's the Xbox OG, the PS2, and the Wii. I can switch back and forth on. And then over here you can see I have a 4K HDMI switcher. It's a 5-input switcher. Because honestly, I've got a ton of game systems that are plugged in through HDMI. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff in here. I had to, you can kind of see now why I had to whittle down a lot of stuff, because I ran out of space really fast. And I've been game hunting for years, so I mean, it just really started ramping up in the last 2 years or so. But yeah, it's my little heaven. I have my little space to come to after work at night. I get home off of work around midnight every night. So I got to have a little, you know, wind down time to myself. So that's kind of what I do every night when I come home from work. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it's not as exciting as a lot of people's game rooms, but it's my little slice of heaven. And until next time, keep hunting.